Well, better late than never. I'm supposed to try. I've told myself I need to put out 2 videos a month, which is nothing compared to people that actually YouTube for a living. But I just YouTube for fun and to help people, especially because I love Disney. I love talking about it. This is like my talk about Disney outlet. So, yesterday it was pouring rain in Utah. I had the thought, I wonder if people need tips and tricks if it's raining in Anaheim. So we're going to talk about today if you decide to go to Disneyland when it's raining, pros and cons. So, should you even go? The answer is yes, absolutely. And there's some seriously awesome pros that come with going to Disneyland on a rainy day compared to a non-rainy day. So I'm going to go through it. So one thing to know is that rain in California isn't like a normal thing. Like they do have rain, but it's not like Florida. Florida rains a ton. Like Disney World, expect to get rained on because they're pretty much an island. But Anaheim, you still kind of get like that ocean humidity anyway. Like my hair always goes flat. But rain there can just be a sprinkle or a torrential downpour. We went during spring a couple of years ago, and it just like a waterfall all day long. So if you're planning to go and you've already booked your tickets and you look at the weather forecast and it's going to rain, the best thing to do is just prepare. One of the nicest things is people that live in California, if they see that it's going to be a rainy day, they will most likely pull out. If they have like season passes or they bought tickets, they will just switch the ticket days because they're like, we're here. But if you're flying in and you're staying, in a hotel or something like that, you don't want to change your entire trip for a rainy day. And the biggest positive, because of that, there's less crowds. So the California people aren't coming, so there's less people there, which means ride times are shorter. There are some rides that aren't open if it's like really coming down. There's the teacup ride. I'm pretty sure that keeps going. But the other Alice in Wonderland ride that goes up and outside, that usually shuts down. If you're over in Disney California Adventure, the Zephyr closes if there's wind. Like the Zephyr's kind of like, I'm a temperamental beauty. I'm going to work when I want to. But just realize some of the rides are going to be closed. But the rides that are indoors and have an indoor queue like Space Mountain, that will get most likely a little more crowded because people don't want to get wet. So they're going in on those rides that have covered lines as well as a covered ride. But totally worth it. I mean, we went and it was awesome. Now, because of that, every time it's like really raining here in Utah, my kids are like, it's a Disney day, because it was so fun to be there when it was a torrential downpour. I know that sounds weird, but it was like, it like changes your perspective about the rain because you're like, I'm in the happiest place on earth. I kind of like it. Like I have friends that are like, oh, it's raining. It's kind of a drizzly day. And I'm like, it's a Disney day. Like that's just how it feels now because we had such an epic couple of days in the pouring rain. And I still remember showing up. I think it was probably close to one of their spring breaks when we went. And they were like, and we were having kind of ticket trouble and I was freaking out. And it was like soaking waterfall rain. And they're like, we're out of reservations. Like we're at max capacity today. And I'm just like, yeah, baby. I love it. I love it. Keep it going. Some things that you're going to want to bring with you to be successful. Ponchos. So I just get the cheap ones that, that are folded up in a little pouch and you can put it in your pocket. The reason why I like those is they cost like $1 and I'll just chuck them because I don't want to try and bring them back home. And, it's like a plastic bag, but it does the job. You can get the nicer ones. I've gotten the nicer ones, and I've noticed sometimes down the road they get moldy. So, I mean, it's up to you. Disney does have ponchos there. They're a little pricey, but they'll probably last longer than the plastic bag ones that I just stick in my pocket. But a tip is if you have a stroller or, for me, a scooter, bring an extra poncho, and you can put the poncho over the seat And that way when you come back after a ride, unless you're, I mean, some rides you might be staying in the scooter, but if you're like me and you transfer without a problem, then it's nice to have an extra poncho just to cover the seat so you don't come back and soak your buns or your backpack or something like that. I mean, I'm planning on including some links for stuff. I've never used these. I've bought them and returned them without using them before, but I'm kind of tempted to get them for our Alaska cruise that's coming up, and I'm going to give a lot of tips after that trip. But they're like shoe coverings, and I've heard people use these before, especially in like Florida or Disneyland when it's really rainy, and it just goes over your sneaker and zips up, and it's like a rubber container for your shoe, and it keeps your foot from getting wet. It has good grip on the bottom, but I have teenagers and they're like, I'm not wearing that. And my husband's like, I'm not wearing that. So if I got it, it would probably just be for me. But I don't know how, like, there's mixed reviews on them. Some people are like, it's the best thing ever. And some people are like, it ripped. It was hard to get on my shoe. It was hard to get off my shoe. So use that with a grain of salt. But nobody likes walking around with soaking wet shoes. So one thing that helps is bringing an extra pair of socks. There are like moisture wicking socks out there that are super helpful as well. But just having an extra pair of socks, if like you're going along, like you do not want to have your feet turn into hamburger because you're walking a ton and it's ripping your shoes apart. What cracked me up is I have these adorable bow Minnie Mouse shoes. And that's usually what I wear when I go to Disneyland. And I wasn't paying attention, and my poncho like went at just the right angle so that the water was coming down off of me and down right into my socks and shoes. So I was super grateful for an extra pair of socks because I'd gone on a couple rides and I'm like, why are my feet getting so wet? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally soaking my piggies. So I switched out my socks and it was better, but my shoe was already soaking wet. That would have been a good example of a time to wear those shoes coverings because I love those shoes and now they're kind of funky looking because they got soaking wet. It rains in Anaheim kind of the same time frame as like a regular winter or spring. You know, spring is always wet, and that's something to think about. A waterproof jacket's really nice, like a fleece lining, because I will say I am not used to humid cold, and the humid cold when I have been in Disneyland is painful. I'm wearing like 5 sweaters and I'm still like, it's in my bones. So like if you're someone like me that kind of can tend to run cold, having a waterproof jacket is a game changer because like another jacket, like a puffer or something like that, getting it wet, the dream is dead. Or a cotton zip up hoodie or something like that. Having something waterproof, and I bought this really nice one for Alaska because everybody's like, it's gonna rain. So just something to think about, like a waterproof jacket would be super helpful. And then prep the people that you're going with, especially children. Like, it's going to rain. We're going to like it. We're going to have fun. I prepped my kids and they were older. I think if they were younger, they'd probably get tired and a little wet and miserable. But I just prepped them like, we're doing this. Game on, man. We're die hard. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I mean, they all teased me because I would be on my scooter and my poncho with the backpack and I looked really ridiculous. And they're like, let's go, Luigi. It was epic. I think that's all my tips. But I would say it's worth it to go to Disneyland when it's raining. I don't think you would want to carry around an umbrella necessarily. You'd probably poke somebody in the eye, probably someone that you're with. But I would say like ponchos are super easy to take on and off. And if you're going on Splash Mountain, I mean, it's not Splash Mountain anymore. It's Tiana's Bayou. I haven't been on it yet, the new one. Like,